Steve Mackey with me, and Steve is, he's the president of the Ancient Order of the Hibernians. How long have the Hibernians been around?
The Hibernians in Schenectady have been around for 133 years this year, I believe it is.
Wow.
And that actually, in America, we date back to about 1836.
Oh yeah, they were the first wave that came over, weren't they, the Irish? And,
well, in a way,
in
yes.
a way, yeah, I know, every wave that came through, right? You know. And Steve is going to tell us a little bit about the Celtic Festival. It's their 5th annual Celtic Festival, which is part of Art Night in Schenectady. And we're going to find out who's going to be there, what's going to happen, and are we going to get our toes tapping or not?
Well, I hope everybody's going to get their toes tapping.
Good.
Although actually in Ireland, we tend to keep time with our hands, not our toes. But we're going to have this year, Who's Your Paddy, which has been a perennial favorite for most of the people. They play a collection of, or selection, I should say, of both traditional Irish tunes and pop
music.
songs also that people going. We also are honored to have, again, dancers from Farrell School of Irish Dance.
They're very good too, yeah. And they're young girls and
most
boys,
are,
yeah.
Some are very young, some are, well,
they're
young.
fun to watch, yeah.
But very good. And pipers from the Schenectady Pipe Band will be there.
And they're an award-winning band.
They are, and they will be men in kilts, so we'll have that too.
Are you going to have a Bonnie Knees contest?
We're not doing that this year.
Oh, shucks.
Unfortunately, I couldn't get somebody to organize it, but you can go around and look at the knees.
I can
all
look
you
at
want.
those knees? Okay.
You can be your own judge.
Just don't lift up those kilts, right?
Well, kilt lifting is an old Scottish sport, I understand, so if you wish to. And that, kind of like cow tipping, you know, it's up to you. And then we are still negotiating with our storyteller who was going to move out of the area but hasn't yet. So hopefully we'll have a storyteller in the tradition of the Irish and Scottish bards, the Celtic bards.
Oh, that would be fun.
And there'll be at least one vendor who makes their own jewelry, which jewelry making is a very ancient Irish and Scottish thing, particularly
They use
Irish.
a lot with metals because I've got some really nice
a lot of different gold
pieces,
pieces, silver pieces, going back literally thousands of years. So it's. I think
and there's an Irish American museum. We just want to mention that there is a museum in the area, so there's a big foundation for the Irish in our area.
Well, the Irish, but not just the Irish. That's one of the reasons we named it the Celtic Faire. Historically, there's 7 nations that are considered the Celts.
They said there's going to be an 8th one or something?
Well, there might be. It depends on who you talk to.
I heard that.
The 7th one that we usually name is Galicia in Spain, and Asturias is right next to it, and that's where the Iberians went after the Romans.
That's a lucky number. We'll stick with 7.
So we'll stick to 7 for now. But basically, when we think of the Celts, we think of Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Cornwall, Brittany, and the Isle of Man, and we want to celebrate Celtic heritage in general,
not just the Irish, but everybody. But of course, you're with the Hibernians, so that is basically the Irish, isn't it?
I'm also Scottish on my yes, it is an Irish organization, but I'm also Scottish on my grandmother's.
So you're a true Celt.
I believe. Well, there's such thing. My father always said we're Americans and we're mutts, but.
That's true.
We're definitely a lot of Celtic heritage.
Well, it's so important to keep that heritage alive.
I believe so.
Yeah, now what are some famous Irish foods besides Irish soda bread?
Actually, smoked salmon.
Oh, really?
The Irish are very big on salmon. Irish stew may be iconic as a symbol of it. Should be made with lamb, not beef.
I was going to say it's lamb, isn't it?
And there's an old story about 2 fellas dining in Dublin, and Americans, and one says to his Irish-American friend, "Why don't the Irish put carrots in their stew? Even the English put carrots in their stew." And his friend responds, "And that's precisely why the Irish do not." But you add that. And brownback, which is a kind of tea bread. There's an awful lot of food. plug one of our sponsors here. If you're more interested, go to Lennon's. I'm sure they have some cookbooks.
Oh, good. See, that's good. We'll make that, and they are one of your sponsors. Who are some of your other sponsors? Let's give them a big shout out.
Price Chopper is one. Lennon's Irish Shop, as I said. Schenectady County, the Gazette is our immediate sponsor, and the Schenectady Downtown Business District.
Downtown Improvement District.
Downtown Improvement District.
That's
Thank
okay.
you. I knew I'd screw that one up.
Sure.
And then also we're receiving some sponsorship money from Coors Light and, of all people, of course, Guinness.
Well, why not Guinness?
Another fine Irish food.
Absolutely. So how long, what are the times for this? If people want to come down and partake in the fun.
Right. The fair will run from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday, June 15th. And for many who I know often ask, when are the dancers going to be on? We hope between 6 and 7.
Okay.
It's hard
and
to
if
get
it rains, what do you do?
Well, as Hoosier Patty once said, we buy the pop-up tents by the dozen. So
okay, just to make sure that you're all set.
Yeah, we can
with
cover
that.
some people.
And let's see, and you said Hoosier Patty and
Barrel School of Irish Dance.
Good, and you have the vendors.
And different vendors. And that basically this year our food will actually be handled by the Hibernians, the men and lady Hibernians.
Oh, good. Yeah, so you're raising money also.
Right.
Is this a fundraiser for you?
Well, it is a fundraiser for us, but basically a big fundraiser of this is we run a raffle in connection with it, and there will be various prizes have been donated. We'll be raffling those off too.
Great.
Not that night; it's too hard to do it there, but on June 29th at the Hibernian Hall at 1748 State Street, we will have a band there that night running the river. I think many people are familiar with it. They've been in downtown Schenectady, and we will hold the raffle there that night.
And I have to say, I've been to the Hibernians Hall up on State Street, and it's a lovely facility.
Well, thank you.
Is that open to the public?
No, not directly.
Okay, because I know you have a bar there.
And we are a private club. However, we certainly can have a guest, and anyone who comes, I'm often there, or somebody else will be. Introduce yourself, and we do have an associate-type membership, so you don't have to be Irish to be a member.
Well, everybody's Irish,
St.
especially on
Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patrick's Day. Right, good. Steve Mackey, it's such a pleasure to have him here, and he and his wife have worked very hard on the Celtic Festival. She could not be here today, so Steve is here to represent that, and so and as president of the Hibernians, you should be here to represent
I would hope
us,
so.
Absolutely. I'm Ann Perilla. We're going to take another quick break. Thank you so much,
Which I understand you're going to have some music from
Yes, we're going to try and do that if everything works well. And then we're going to have Joanne DeVoe on and Rosemary Crockett. We're going to talk about a strawberry festival. Stay tuned. Wait a minute.
Oh, okay.